Welcome back, friends and family of the internet and fellow watchers on the wall. You guys, I understand how confusing all of this must seem to everyone. And I used to defend everything that I saw happening. And now I'm just sitting back and I'm letting the Lord show me some things. So earlier today, I did just a wee bit of a Bible study out of curiosity in the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before your feet, and to know that I have loved you. There's a lot of misinterpretation of this one verse. This verse is proclaiming the fact that God doesn't recognize the spiritual claims of the nation of Israel without their acceptance as Jesus Christ of Nazareth as the Messiah. It also refers to the coming kingdom age when Christ will rule personally over the entirety of the earth, where he will restore Israel after they have bowed to Jesus. Friends and family, right now, I know there are plans going forth in Israel to build a third temple, an actual temple, a physical structure, because they are ushering in their Messiah, the same Messiah that occultists, Freemasons, Jesuits, Kabbalists, all those people are waiting on their Messiah. But as a Christian, I have the ability to step back and say, wait a second, the Messiah has come and gone. So your Messiah will be the Antichrist. When you understand that one thing, you can free yourself of all the noise. You understand when you see Israel building their third temple, when you hear things that make you go, whoa, 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 you can understand why. The Messiah has come and gone. The Bible is very clear. Anybody, including the Jews, that have not accepted Jesus Christ as their Savior, all of them fall under the title of synagogue of Satan. It's not derogatory. It's not ugly. It's not anti-Semitic. I'm including Muslims and everyone else under that title. It's simple truth. We are so close, friends and family of the internet, to the coming of Jesus, who will build for us a world that works the way it was meant to. Until then, buckle up, get ready, because things are fixing to get dicey real fast. But as a child of the Most High King, as a princess, I know I'm going to be okay. Let me show you guys this real quick. You've got to understand, first, you have to understand what's happening. Why are these tech billionaires surrounding President Trump? From a narco president to freedom cities, Honduras, Greenland, and the new tech power. Go to my Patreon, Starkey Formstead, Decoding Technocracy. I'm actually going to connect it back to the Lord of the Rings. Why? Because that is what the tech billionaires have done. That is what Palantir has done. There's something there, and I'm going to show it to you. Right now, I just got a text message before I started this video that said, oh my gosh, Sam, Trump's talking about rolling out 6G, but I just got notification from my cellular service telling me they have 10G. She said, what they're showing us and what's actually happening are two different things. And there it is. What they're showing you they're doing has already been done. And what they're telling you is coming in the future is already here. And once you understand that, you've got it. So make sure you hit the like button. Please check, say you're still subscribed. YouTube shadow bans me, removes the ability for people to hype my videos, takes your comments down. It's just, they don't want the real truth. Once people begin to wake up, they're just done with you. So the 10G platform is improving multi-gig capable cable internet speeds. The 10G platform is steadily improving cable internet capacities, currently providing speeds of up to 2 Gbps. The 10G platform's technology allows cable internet providers to execute faster speeds, reduce latency, and improve reliability. It's already here. So then why did Trump put a big thing out about 6G rolling out? The things that make you say, pay attention, folks. Everything I show you, I will link it in description, which can be found right below the title of the video.
I'm telling you guys that I need to give you a third temple update. There has been a lot that has happened as I showed you the videos before that that they sacrificed a red heifer for the first time in 2,000 years. Those ashes are going to be needed for the third temple.
So it works like this, you guys. The last time that a red heifer was sacrificed was when Jesus walked this earth. During COVID, there was a rancher in Texas that sent 5 red heifers, unblemished, unmarked, to Israel. During that period of time, I could find very little real documentation on the red heifers. What I can tell you is that 3 of them made it to the age they needed to be. And from what I am understanding, they have now sacrificed one. Why does that matter? Because the way that the ceremony goes, and you can find this in your Old Testament, in your Bible, they have to have the ashes for the purification ritual before the priest can enter into the Holy of Holies. Now, you and I are Christians, and we understand that we can boldly walk into the throne room of our King of Kings and Lord of Lords, and we can petition by bringing him in remembrance of his word. Unfortunately, people who practice Judaism do not believe that Jesus was the Savior. Therefore, they're still caught in the Torah, the first 5 books of your Old Testament.
Showing you how they have the Ark of the Covenant. They have everything ready, like all the priestly robes, everything is done. They even, I cannot confirm it, but we have heard that it has been prefab built and that it could be put together in like 3 days or like a week, something along those lines, but it's really fast. They have the banners up in Israel with Trump on them, as well as a third temple coin that has come out with Trump on it. And they're calling him Cyrus, essentially seeing him as leading, or basically ushering in their Messiah. This is all over Israel. We've shown the videos. This is through I Am Redeemed 7. That's on TikTok. So I'm going to take you through a couple of her videos. There's a lot to unpack. There's so much going on. If you haven't seen those old videos, maybe in one big live stream, we'll just go through all the third temple stuff so that you can understand. But this is the third temple. Okay. It's going to be on the Temple Mount. And once that third temple is built, who is supposed to sit in there? Well, the AC, the Antichrist, right? That is the Jewish Messiah. Okay. But in the Bible is referred to the Antichrist, which.
Come on, Jesus. There are people out here trying to bring the truth to you. You have to strip MAGA out of your mind. MAGA means magician. All of us that claimed MAGA for a period of time, we were put underneath total delusion by the Lord because we claimed and brought something upon ourselves that was never meant for us. We spiritually bound ourselves. But you can just tell God you're sorry. Open your eyes and he'll show you what's happening. We are walking it out. Come on, Jesus.
We believe in our Messiah, which is Jesus Christ, if you are a Christian. So if you do not get this, okay, we're talking about end times prophecy happening right now, all around the world in different areas, all converging at once and fulfilling biblical prophecy at the same time. And this third temple is very important because everything has to be in place, because once the tribulation hits, well, then exactly 3.5 years in the middle of that, that is when the AC, the Antichrist, will sit in the temple, right? And so you've got to be, if you pay attention to this, if you are a Christian, you believe in Jesus Christ, you're living according to the word, as I've told you, we will be raptured. We will be meeting Jesus in the clouds. Jesus returns to earth for the final judgment at the end of tribulation. We've gone over.
And praise God for that. But let me explain something to you guys. God will rip the scales off Israel's eyes. He will give them redemption if they ask for it, because they're going to realize their mistake when the Antichrist comes after them. So let me show you guys some stuff I found. Can we just all agree that BlackRock is evil? Do you guys remember when I was investigating Maui? Not just me, so many people investigating what happened in Maui. And we knew, like, we put it together that BlackRock, like, owned, they were the second largest landowners through a specific company in Maui, in Lahaina, and that they had their eye on that land. Well, just like yesterday, all the people praising Trump, oh wow, look, Trump puts it to BlackRock, but there's something there you're not seeing. If Trump picks Mr. BlackRock to lead the Federal Reserve, that very well could be one of the final nails in the coffin for America. There is nothing positive that will come out of that. And I really do mean that sincerely. Rick Ryder, okay, that, do you guys understand what I'm saying to you? Look at this. All right. So Trump says, hey, I'm not going to allow BlackRock to purchase single family dwellings anymore. I'm not going to allow that. In the same day, Trump agrees to an interview of BlackRock's Rick Ryder for the Fed chair position. First off, the Federal Reserve is not even part of the federal government, but they control your money. They control the printing of money. They control everything. BlackRock is behind all the weather manipulation attacks against good Americans from North Carolina to California to Texas to Maui and all around the world. And this is what Trump decides to do. So if you're in your echo chamber, you may not have even heard this, that Trump's going to interview Rick Ryder. You haven't even heard that. Why? Because you're hearing that he's going to stop. He's going to stop BlackRock. He's going to make BlackRock stop buying up all the single dwelling homes. But this is the truth. It's true. This Rick Ryder guy is man parts deep in the Rothschilds and British royal family, which is basically the owners of Israel and the root cause of the problems in the world today. They are strongly connected with Rockefellers, Kissingers, Soros, the World Economic Forum, the BIS, and all the other biggest bankers, not to mention his BlackRock CIO role, which the CEO, Larry Fink, has just replaced Carl Schwab at the World Economic Forum. You will eat the bugs and you will own the nothing. These connections suggest America will be royally screwed, excuse the pun, if Rick is selected. I mean, look at this, you guys. I can't even believe that Americans are not understanding. Please help me get this information out. Please. BlackRock burned Maui. And then Trump sends out this email to his supporters last night saying he is alone in the dark. This is weird. I'm alone and in the dark. Some people are saying this is sad. I'm sitting here alone in the war room fighting for you. The rest of the staff went home hours ago. It's just me, one dying laptop, and the 72-hour countdown clock to my first mid-month deadline of the year just rang. Hold the line. If we don't crush my first mid-month deadline of the year, my radical left flips the House and Senate in 2026 and finishes what they started. Open borders, your pow-pows confiscated, your kids brainwashed. Well, I'm going to tell you, I received this from Donald Trump in the mail today. You know, dear fellow American, I'm about to enter into the most important election of my year. I'm reaching out to you because I need you to circle the wagon to protect the final 2 years of my presidency from the ultra partisan Democrats and their radical left wing allies. They want to destroy me. I know some of my MAGA supporters don't consider themselves to be Republicans. Did you hear that? And that's fine with me. But like it or not, we need the Republican Party to accomplish our goals and secure a better future for your children. Now I'm just going through and picking things out. It's very long, it's 4 pages. Do me a favor. Immediately sign and return this enclosed 2026 election year pledge of support with your contribution of $35, $70, $150, $250, or $500. Wow. No, not doing it. By the way, please pick up your book. This one is still on Amazon. The reason this book is still on Amazon is it was put out through a publisher. I paid out of pocket almost $6,000 to publish that book, and I'm still recouping what I put out to publish it, which is why you can get the rest of my books in ebook form and print them yourselves at your local library. The State Department spokesperson, Tammy Bruce, says America is the greatest country on earth next to Israel.
Country on earth next to Israel. Making things better for people. And in the greatest country on earth next to Israel. It is, and it's an honor to be able to make a difference and to be able to speak.
And just like that, my point has been proven that Trump is in association with Larry Fink and BlackRock. I don't like to tell you this for just any reason, people. You're being played. Check your screenshots below. This will make BlackRock invincible.
Did you see what's going down with the Panama Canal? I tried telling everybody that this shit was actually going to happen sooner or later. Donald Trump on Tuesday literally touted BlackRock's deal to buy 2 Panama Canal ports as a positive step in his broader effort at reclaiming the canal for the United States. Obviously referring to the deal between an investment group led by BlackRock and Hong Kong's C.K. Hutchison. And don't even get me started on them. Do keep in mind the administration's efforts to take back control of the Panama Canal are being spearheaded by the U.S. Secretary of State Marco fucking Rubio, which, I mean, let's be honest, I shouldn't have to really say much about, especially when considering his top contributors throughout the last couple of years. I mean, that speaks volumes in itself. I mean, Trump literally said a large American company, I mean, that says enough, announced they are buying both ports around the Panama Canal. Do keep in mind, the Trump administration is actively seeking new ways for Washington and American firms to help counter China's presence in the region. But guess what? Larry's a very intelligent man, let's just put it that way, okay? And he's very strategic. Why do you think Trump's been talking about crypto as much as he has?
And why do you think Larry Fink just took over the World Economic Forum?
I told you motherfuckers what was really going down with Trump, but nobody wanted to listen to me. I stay in contact with certain parts of my family that can give me really valuable information, okay? Did you see what's going down with the...
I never agree with their cursing, folks, but we're all adults here. Trump will interview BlackRock's Rick Ryder for Fed chair position. It's one big club, friends, and we aren't in it. What Trump did in Venezuela was topple a Christian country and hand it to Israel, BlackRock, and the Rothschilds bankers. Venezuela is not even in the top 5 illegal drug trafficking into the U.S. If you look at who the U.S. lists for drug traffickers into the U.S., Venezuela wasn't even at the top. So this was from, excuse me, Nat Rothschild on January 3rd, 2026. Well done, Donald J. Trump. Venezuela Libre. Nat Rothschild. Then you've got this woman. This woman won the Peace Prize, you guys know what I'm about, the Nobel Peace Prize. She dedicated it to Donald Trump. 20 years ago, this woman was involved in Venezuela's government and she was basically run out. Now she's going to be placed. A regime change just happened on Donald Trump's watch. She's going to be placed as the new president. And she's also going to have a few, of Trump's administration down there holding her hand. I've done videos on that. But Venezuela's opposition leader, Maria Corona Machado, said they are ready to take over the government and that once freedom is secured, she will move Venezuela's embassy in Israel to Jerusalem. They're all falling in line. Every one of them falling in line. So this is where I keep asking people to make it make sense to me. And one of my moderators made it make sense for me today. She sent me some information. Lo and behold, the Honduran president was actually forgiven and pardoned by Donald Trump because there is a tech bro city in Honduras. So a former president of Honduras was convicted in the United States federal court. He was sentenced to 45 years for drug trafficking and weapons-related crimes. Then, in a political earthquake, Donald Trump issued a full pardon and the DOJ released the Honduran president. At the same time, a Silicon Valley connected U.S. diplomat, Ken Howry, who was the PayPal co-founder and the Founders Fund partner, was installed as the U.S. ambassador to Denmark right as tensions exploded around Greenland. And underneath all of it is a movement, privately governed startup cities, real operating experiments in places like Honduras, now reportedly being pitched as a model to export to the Arctic. Today, we're going to connect dots with receipts between the U.S. prosecutions, presidential pardons, venture capital influencers, charter city governance, and what critics say is a slide toward technocracy. The Honduran president case people mean most often is Juan Orlando Hernandez, also known as JOH, who served as Honduran's president from 2014 to 2022 and was later extradited to the United States. The United States prosecutors accused him of participating in a conspiracy tied to cocaine importing and weapons of offense as a case handled in the Southern District of New York. On June 26, 2024, a federal judge sentenced JOH to 45 years in prison, plus supervised release afterwards. He was also given an $8 million fine. This is not internet rumor. This is an official Department of Justice release and mainstream wire reporting. The political significance is that JOH has been treated for years as a key U.S. partner in regional security and anti-drug efforts. Now, this is where people got really upset with Donald Trump. It wasn't just the Epstein files being a hoax. It wasn't just everything he basically, got us to vote on to get him in office. He's now doing the exact opposite of. In fact, some people honestly believe the man in the office is not the same man. A lot of you have been looking at clips I've been showing of Donald Trump, and they're like, Samantha, something's not right. When he moves his hands, it doesn't show the same reflection on the table, the glass table on his desk. And you're like, I am telling you, this is AI. I told you guys, people in the Republican Party think Trump looks amazing. But if you see a picture of Trump on a Democrat website or outside of your echo chamber, you've noticed that he has either gained weight or is extremely bloated. His ankles are swollen. His hands are black on top. I mean, he looks terrible. But when you look at the same clip from two different media sources, you can tell they're doctoring the way he looks. Now, does that mean they're doctoring it to make him look sick, or are they doctoring it to make him look healthy? I'm sorry, guys. The weather, I've been having to sleep with the heater on, and it always messes my sinuses. So I apologize without me having to clean my throat and stuff. This is what I'm trying to tell you. A lot of us feel like we don't even know what Trump looks like right now. And is it the same man? Because if you don't think the Joe Biden auto pen can't help him underneath the Trump administration, you're wrong. Because the same people that have controlled this country are still in power. We just swapped presidents. We didn't get rid of the CIA. We didn't get rid of the DOJ. We did not get rid of the FBI. The same people are in power. In fact, ICE, they were showing pictures when Joe Biden was president of the ICE, people working for ICE, the Border Patrol, taking these children that were drugged and putting them in vehicles and moving them with, NGOs and stuff. And there was some stuff coming out. And I actually said this. Those people were part of child trafficking. Those people are still working in their jobs now. You just have a different president. Do you think they're changing what they're doing? No. Because, judge them by their fruit, friends. But back to Honduras. I'm sorry. So the political significance is that, JOH has been treated for years as a key U.S. partner in regional security. He also got his entire country, he lifted the laws and made it possible for tech billionaires to come and start up these cities, right? And this is what I need you to understand. These cities that these guys are starting up in Honduras that they want to also do in Greenland is so that there is no oversight. These people are going down there and they are getting like medical treatments done that you couldn't do in the US. So let me show it to you. I'm going to get there. Hold on. It's all the way to the bottom. I apologize. Let me get down here. Let's start. Sorry, guys. There's so much. And I want to make sure that you understand what's going on. So let's just start here. Okay. Rules without rulers. Reposting because I vibe with it. Everything Brian Johnson does isolates himself. The health industry has pulled off the perfect heist. So this guy right here was a co-founder to PayPal, Peter Thiel, right? One of the tech bros, but he stays underneath the radar more. So Brian Johnson, for the first 34 years of my life, I believe the narrative to be a successful entrepreneur, you need to be sleep deprived, barely surviving, and mentally bankrupt. He has something called Don't Die. I got to lose the music or they won't let me show it. So he pushes this Don't Die blueprint all across the world. See it? Don't die. Don't die. These tech billionaires do not want to die. So they are buying up land in third world countries, islands. They want to go to Greenland so that you can't see what they're doing. And in these tech utopias, these 10 cities that Donald Trump talked about, there they are gods. They can do whatever they want. They can go there. They can have all kinds of medical, mysterious stuff done to them. I thought the hit pieces against me were dumb until I saw this, right? Brian Dunn Johnson, NDAs, Zoom calls shirtless. It's a lot.
Johnson's longtime catchphrase and sort of the name of his brand.
Welcome to the Don't Die Summit.
And what I'm talking about is a city people call Prosperia. So Prosperia is a startup city, a charter city project on the Honduran island of Roatan, built under Honduran's ZEDE framework with special governance zones with a distinct regulatory structure. The people of Honduras hate this, but all of this was made possible by their president that Donald Trump actually pardoned. JOH was given a full pardon in December of 2025, and JOH was released from U.S. custody. Now, Congress was so upset that Congress's research arm produced an explainer on the pardon and its implications. Major foreign policy organizations publicly analyzed the effect of U.S. credibility and anti-corruption policy because of what Trump did. And soon after reporting indicated Honduras moved toward renewed legal pursuit, issuing an arrest warrant tied to additional allegations. So convicted, sentenced to 45 years, then freed by presidential pardon. Why was he freed? It's so deep because Kenneth A. Howry is a PayPal co-founder and partner of Founders Fund. Deep Silicon Valley credentials, who also served as a U.S. ambassador to Sweden during Trump's first term. December 22, 2024, Trump announces Howry as his choice for U.S. ambassador to Denmark. October 7th, 2025, Howry is confirmed by the Senate. Howry becomes relevant to Greenland in two ways, and this all ties back to Honduras. Diplomatic friction. Denmark publicly summoned the U.S. ambassador amid renewed U.S. pressure to take Greenland. Reuters reported Howry traveling to Greenland and meeting officials in Nuuk during his heightened tension tied to U.S. Denmark Greenland coordination structures. So when people say the tech bro ambassador of Denmark, they're pointing to a Silicon Valley financier diplomat in a post that now sits at the top of a geopolitical pressure point. When people say Prospera, they're talking a startup city, a charter city on an Honduran island. It's an attempt to create a place where governance works more like a product, a packaged legal regulatory environment designed to attract investors and startups. Multiple reports describe Prospera as connected to a broader Silicon Valley libertarian startup city movement. And note backing interest from major tech investors. Peter Thiel, Mark Andreessen. The backlash centers on sovereignty and democratic legitimacy. Honduran critics have portrayed ZEDEs as carving out autonomous zones that can override national priorities. Trump is also making sounds about doing these same cities in our national parks here in America. And Brian Johnson is also or was one of the owners of Venmo. He is the guy that is doing these weird medical tests in Honduras. Guys, it is a tech bro world right now, and you and I aren't invited into it.
He's developed a huge following and curated this very specific image of himself. But our investigation has found that he's used these confidentiality agreements to silence people around him. In 2021, he founded Blueprint, a pretty small startup, and basically it's selling Brian Johnson's full life philosophy. It's not atypical at most companies to sign some kind of standard form of NDA. So for example, a company would not want you to post any of its privileged documents, but it's really going into every single corner of what you can or cannot say. There's a section here about Brian himself and the relationship between Brian and an employee, Brian's family, Brian's relationship with his family, any of Brian's past, present, or future personal relationships or professional relationships. In another move to really control his image, Brian has employees sign what several lawyers have told me is a very unusual agreement. It's called an opt-in agreement. The document is pretty explicit in telling employees the types of behavior that they have to say they're okay with. Brian will sometimes have no clothing, no underwear. They might be in proximity to discussions for media production, including erotica. They might be involved in discussions that involve adult humor, jokes, ideas, phrases, and art, as well as discussions of sexual activities, including erections, duration issues, and changes in sexual abilities. In at least a couple cases, they seem to go against California state law of what someone is able to ask a worker to do. One person close to Blueprint shared this photo with me of Brian Johnson in a Zoom call with no shirt on. And this apparently was a pretty routine situation for employees of Blueprint to deal with. All the legal experts I spoke to said that the growing use of confidentiality agreements is a really disturbing growing trend.
There's a reason I showed you this, because you're never going to get proof. Because I know I was in the whole this isn't really happening corner also for a while. And I'm like, well, where's the proof? Where's the proof? They literally can't give you the proof. They cannot give you the proof. You guys, they can't. So this is what I need you to understand. That Reuters reported in April of 2025 that wealthy, politically connected investors were lobbying the Trump administration around the idea of a libertarian freedom city in Greenland, a technology hub with minimal regulation, intertwined with Trump's broader Greenland ambitions. The report described the pitch as a hub for advanced tech, AI, autonomous systems, and more, merging medical and machinery with no overlap, with no watchdogs, with nothing in place to protect humans, animals, DNA. Do you know in the Bible when it says that it's going to be like in the days of Noah and Lot when Jesus returns? Do you know why? Because places like Honduras, there's now one inside of California, and they're aiming for one right there in Greenland. These places are creating things that you can't do anywhere else on the world or anywhere else in the world. These startup nation groups aligned with the Prospera ecosystem, we're pushing U.S. officials on deregulated freedom cities, and critics have warned that these become cities without democracy. We were worried about smart cities, right? Because that's another one of these. But first, they have to get somewhere that they can practice, you guys. So right now, the Greenland Freedom City concept is best understood as a reported lobbying pitch effort. It's not a finished, approved construction project yet. Technocracy in the modern sense isn't just engineers running things. It is governance shifting from public elections and civic debate toward rule books written by private entities. dispute resolution through private systems, and policy enforced through platforms, contracts, and permissioned access. So when a former Honduran president who was already convicted in the United States by the Department of Justice and was given 45 years in prison, when that was done, he was supposed to have supervised release plus an $8 million fine for drug trafficking. When all of that is done, but then a U.S. president wipes it away with a pardon. When a Silicon Valley figure becomes an ambassador to Denmark in the same era that Greenland heats up again, and the startup city model, already real in Honduras, is reported as an inspiration for a proposed Freedom City pitch in Greenland. This isn't about one trial. It's not about one pardon. It's not even about one ambassador. It's about a growing contest over who writes the rules, voters, nations, or privately backed systems designed to operate beyond ordinary democratic friction. This is about, will our children be free? Because Albert Pike, look, the Illuminati planned for 3 world wars. The following is a letter that speculation claimed that Albert Pike wrote to Manzini in 1871 regarding a conspiracy following 3 world wars that were planned in an attempt to take over the world. The Pike letter to Manzini was on display in the British Museum Library in London until 1977. The First World War must be brought about in order to permit the Illuminati to overthrow the power of the czars in Russia. The Second World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences between the fascists and the political Zionists. This war must be brought about so that Nazism is destroyed and the political Zionism be strong enough to institute a foreign state of Israel in Palestine. Let that sink in. The Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the, I can't see it, something of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the modern Arabic world, and political Zionism, the state of Israel, mutually destroy each other. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economical exhaustion. We shall unleash the nihilist and the atheist, and we shall provoke a formidable social catalysm, which in all its horror will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism, origin of savagery, and the most bloody turmoil. They've been planning this for hundreds of years, friends and family of the internet. Hundreds and hundreds of years. And I mean, did we all forget that Thomas Crooks was in the BlackRock commercial and now Trump's sitting down? Come on.
Stock on July 12th. So here's everything that you need to know about Austin private wealth. Because if it's not an input error, it's definitely not intentional, right? As you can see, an event starkly reminiscent of strange trading activity just before the what attacks in 2001? On July 12th, do keep in mind, a day before July 13th, 12 million. Ironically, Austin Private Wealth's highest shareholders just so happen to be BlackRock and Vanguard.
They're in everything. They all the secret trading, the attempts on Trump's life, all of it. While Trump has publicly railed against globalism behind the curtain, he empowered the very machinery of the technocratic world order. His 2016 presidency marked the opening ritual of the age of AI, and BlackRock stood quietly at his side, not in the spotlight, but in the control room. In 2020, as COVID collapsed global markets, Trump handed over economic steering powers to BlackRock, giving it unprecedented control of the Federal Reserve's 750 billion corporate bond buying program. It was a ritual of financial enthronement, cloaked as pandemic relief. BlackRock was not regulated by the state, it became the state. You see, Trump supporters believe he fights the deep state, yet the financial apparatus he empowers is the deep state, not of simply intelligence alone, but of capital, algorithm, and black cube control. Although Trump is not a technocrat, he is their chaos catalyst, their ritual clown king, and ultimately their unwitting gatekeeper. Technocratic sorcery. The rise of the black cube messiah is coming. I can't even explain it to you guys. If you don't see it, you don't see it. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink has been openly pushing asset tokenization, and we know Trump has a long standing tie with Fink. On chain digging shows BlackRock linked wallets adding $ USOR US oil. The project's X bio says oil tokenization technology out February 1st. Top wallet tagged Trump team linked to $Trump trader from last year. Last time Trump touched crypto, it minted hundreds of millionaires, not saying anything, just connecting dots. Here it is. They're going to tokenize it all. I did a video on that a few weeks ago. Trump isn't ending the Fed. He's selling it off to BlackRock instead. By plugging the Fed into BlackRock's Aladdin platform, they can flip the switch to CBDC social credit score systems. It just breaks my heart. Because I thought he was on our side too, you guys. I really, really, really did. I thought he was on our side. And then I saw it like, you guys have heard me ask this question, make it make sense. Why did Trump pardon Honduran's president? Like, that doesn't make any sense. You pardon the Honduran president for the exact same thing that you arrested the Venezuelan president for. Like, what? Why waste our money? Why put our military in danger if they're just going to get pardoned by the next president? I could not figure it out. And then Kelly's like, because, Sam, because of these tech cities, you guys. It's so deep. They're called Freedom City Startup City Proposals. Freedom cities. And Trump's even talked about having a contest for 10 freedom cities inside the US. You know it, you've heard it. And then I saw that when Trump goes, he's starting up his own neighborhood, elite neighborhood in the middle of like Muslim countries. And there's this big golden thing that looks exactly like the 10 Commandments, but it says, all praise to Allah. And it says Trump Industries. And I'm just like, what the hell, man? There's no more denying it. He may throw us a couple of bones, us useless eaters, but the point is that he is surrounded by tech billionaires. It's too late. They've already plugged in. The contracts have been written, the money's been traded off. You and I are going to be on digitalized, tokenized economy systems, living in a technocratic nightmare. If the world lasts for the next 10 years, that's if Israel can't beat them to finish in building the throne for the Antichrist. Right now, it's like the world system, because the Bible tells us that everything has to be controllable. So they've got to get the police state in place, folks. They've got to get the police state done. I think I'm going to be doing decoding these cities, because I know what they're doing. I've been watching documentaries on it all day, what they do in Prospera, Honduras, what they're doing down there genetically to people. Yeah. They'll be doing that up there too. This is horrific. This is not a joke anymore. I'm not going to ignore it anymore. I mean, yeah, he might throw us a few bones. We might all get a $2,000 check from the government. Maybe. Who knows? But all I can say is pray for him. Pray for him. But like I said, he cannot stop it at this point. You guys, I don't even know if that's the same man. Tell me what you think. I mean, I'm being really real. He could be totally going and they could be Biden and pinning this thing. Who knows? Maybe Elon slipped something in his brain. But I can tell you this, the world that they're building, if Trump knows he can't beat them, just hear me out. If Trump knows he can't beat them, and I think he figured he is not going to beat them, he couldn't. This world belongs to Satan. The Bible tells you that. And they say, look, just shut up. Get these people on board. Pass these laws. Give us the money. Give us entry into the systems, because Trump has always been the gatekeeper. And we'll make sure that your kids and grandkids have a place in the world to come. And that's what he did. That's what, let's be honest, unsaved people would do. And some saved people. They would sell you out in a heartbeat to protect their own. Nazi Germany. Do you know what survivors said? It was not the Nazi soldiers that I feared. It was my neighbors. It was the bread baker and the school teacher and the dentist and the shoemaker. It was them that hunted me down. Thank you for your time. Like, comment, and subscribe.